views and opinions expressed on Geeks Under the Influence are that of the panelists and not of our sponsors, Amazon.com and TeePublic. Parental discretion is advised.
You just got a baguette and some potatoes for your family, and you're walking down the street, and then there's new Captain America rolls out and just like detaches the jaw from someone with the shield. You didn't even know he was in town.
Yeah, we don't get to see that. I would be so curious to see, did he decapitate the dude? Did he smash his skull? How did that go down?
Well, especially because the back of his head was right on a stone step as well.
The problem is that was on Disney and
Yeah.
on Amazon, where we would have seen not only what happened to the head, but the head roll off
Right.
and blood splatter on everybody in the area.
And possibly even be stepped on.
Yeah.
I like that there was a moment that Amazon, when Disney was just like, oh yeah, we're not going to renew all the Marvel properties on Netflix, that did some shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
And Disney's like, nah, brah, we're going to do some like PG-13 top stuff on Disney Plus. And Amazon was like, And I was like, all right, get me Garth Ennis on the phone. Like, we're doing The
Seriously.
Boys. We're doing Invincible too. We're like doing all the gritty stuff that they can't do on Disney Plus.
I can has blood?
Yeah, right?
Basically.
And especially with how well The Boys did for Amazon as being like, if not the top, one of the top series that they've ever done. And
It's up there. Yeah,
it's up there for sure.
You could tell it's up there because they didn't release all the episodes at once. They said, no. Wait a week, motherfuckers. That's when you know it's doing well, when they're like, you're not getting all of it at one
Yeah,
time.
that's what I want is Jeff Bezos edging me.
Yeah.
That's what I
And that's what you
I
get.
want in my life.
And not only
You
that,
like blood?
they're actually giving you 2 to 3 episodes for that first,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh, no, wait,
Yeah,
I'm not
pull you
done,
in.
and here's the weekly episodes to finish up the season.
That's just the way I determine it, is that if you go to weekly, then they go, all right, we got something here.
Well, I think their strategy is weekly anyway. When you release a block of episodes, it's to bring people in. Sometimes you got to do it.
I feel like the way Amazon's plan is like when you go on a promising first date with somebody and you're like, oh, we're getting along great, and then things move along, get a couple drinks in you, get a nice dinner, and you're like, I don't want the night to end, and then they're like, I don't want the night to end either, and you're like, oh, fuck, and then you like go home and you have like some incredible sex, and you're like, this is fucking rad, and then date 2 happens, and they're just like, oh no, we're going to La Possum. Like we're going to an expensive like you know now what is in store for you if you play your cards right. So you better fucking you better throw down. That's what Amazon does with their episodes.
Fair enough.
They give you a whole lot up front, and then you gotta wait and take your time with the rest of them.
It's almost training me because Jupiter Legacy is a comic book show that just premiered on Netflix.
Oh, yeah,
And it has all the episodes. And I was like, it has all the I'm almost getting used to now
Yeah,
with
that's
The Boys
weird.
and Invincible being like, that's supposed to get all the episodes. Somebody fuck up somehow? Like, but that's
Well, and to be
that's
honest,
the difference between Netflix, pretty much.
Well, Netflix, that's what they've cornered, though, is the whole binge thing.
The binge
Yeah.
market.
That that's what they're after, basically. They just wanted the full load in the face and done.
Well, speaking of full loads in the face, for Invincible, it was mostly blood that you got full loads of. Or
parts. Just
subway
parts.
passengers
Yeah.
as well.
Basically.
On this. So I do want to mention before anything else is that this episode is about Invincible on Amazon Prime, the animated series that just finished its first season run, and there will be spoilers. We are going to do our best not to talk about what the comic does after the events that occurred in season 1 of the animated series. So we're not going to spoil the comics for you so much. We will be talking about the differences in the comics versus the animated series for the parts of the story that are already covered,
Right.
and also the series as well. So definitely spoilers moving forward.
Watch it.
Watch it. It is a really easy watch. I mean,
Yep.
they're
Yeah.
well, they're hour episodes, right? Are they?
No.
No.
That's what's so crazy is they're like, I'd say like 30, 35, 40 minutes.
Okay.
But it feels like it because
Well,
they just
they
pack
pack
in
enough-
so
it's-
much.
yeah.
Act. Yeah.
We were talking about certain movies earlier. There's no law. Like, I mean, there's like conversations at one point, but it's all part of what's building up to what's about to happen and giving you the full story on stuff. They laid it out really well.
Yeah. And we're going to get into that and all things Invincible on this episode of Geeks Under the Influence. Welcome.
And shall be again, a changing of the guards, the tides marching in. You think you can hold
wee. See, he goes wee.
It's a podcast, and he still puts his hands up.
I
in the
know.
air. Like he can't do wee
Well,
without
that's how
it.
you feel it. You got wee.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
I just want to see arms by the side. Wee.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want you to put them in your pocket either, because who knows what you'll do then.
Especially talking about all that blood.
The blood.
So it's no longer a dry jack, it's a blood jack in these.
Exactly. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
blood jack for
Yeah,
Invincible.
very easily.
And it's not even a dry jack because Lowdown is not here for this episode, unfortunately. So no dry jacks for me. Hunter is looking at me very concerned that he's gonna...
I was promised if I sat next to you, then that was what I was going to get.
No, you were told you would get the dry jacks as opposed to giving. It's
I mean, I have my camera at the ready, so.
nice.
Oh, yeah.
We got to get that GUI calendar out one way or another. Let's talk about the cavalcade of heroes on this episode of Geeks Under the Influence. First up is the big daddy himself, the Geekfather, from Geekfathers. Now, plural. We
are plural
with
these days.
Kyle Smash is now your co-host on that.
That's right. What's up, guys?
We got Scotty P.
Hey. What's happening?
2 episodes in a row, my
In
good sir.
person.
In person.
What? I'm going to dry jack myself.
Right.
Excuse me.
Wait till the end of the episode. Man.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Give
oh,
me
yeah.
some space, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, please.
It's called the post-episode
Scotty,
cool down.
stop rubbing your nipples while you're talking, man.
It's
This
a
is
lot,
weird.
man.
I'm about to start tweaking. We're going to get on.
Keep doing it.
See, I'm sitting across from Hobbit this time, so I'm like, wee.
Yeah, into it.
Dedicated audience.
Hey, that's right.
It's sexy, but let me move my shoes really quickly. And
Yes.
Gentleman that's getting the trial by fire on the live in-person GUI that we fortunately have had on a couple shows at this point. Thandi is here to wax poetic about Invincible.
Yes, I am. I'm happy to be here.
You can hear him and his dulcet tones on My Handle is Jonathan Blade.
My handle is Jonathan Blake.
You say it so much better than me. Love the cadence.
A lot
I
of
love it.
practice.
Yeah. I was talking with Amy Bogard, my co-host and, life partner from Deeply Upsetting, about your cadence and how when I first met you, you're like, hello, I'm Thandi. And you just have this this very you've got such a rhythm to your way of speaking that it makes me really annoyed as a podcaster that I have to work so hard to get just this good. And you just are naturally just going with...
He speaks good on microphone.
He does make
Yeah.
I like the way his voice go on microphone.
So one of the jokes, because I think we were talking about Bruce with it before, because of the way Bruce gets his news voice, his radio voice.
He does do a voice.
WNBC.
WNBC.
That, beautiful.
Yeah.
Done.
Next up is the co-host of basically anything that I'm not the co-host of on the network. Yet we've got from Beautiful Disasters, From the Mouths of Madness, some possible future endeavors happening as well.
Of Geekfather.
Previous co-host of Geekfather and a regular panelist here. A man that wears many hats, many stupid hats. We've got Fuck You Hunter.
What's up, bitches?
What's up?
I am very, very, very excited.
I couldn't tell from the fanboy bullshit T-shirt and tote bag that you
Oh,
brought.
you
on
did see my
Invincible.
tote bag.
Oh yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I got that free at a comic book show.
The
so.
T-shirt I get because we used to always wear T-shirts relating to the subject matter that we were talking about. So cool, that's great. I love the spirit. And then you pull out your little fucking cloth tote bag to pull out a beer.
Oh, or the sweatshirt that's in the car. I mean, I
Jesus.
just gonna get covered in Invincible.
I
shit, so.
on a geek-centric podcast, I'm giving you shit for being a geek
Yeah,
over
as I
something.
look around the room, I'm like, how am I catching shit?
Right?
It's
Yeah.
Sacy.
Nerd.
Yeah, you fucking nerd. Yeah, come on,
Sacy.
cut out of Ultron. You tell him.
You best walk, dork.
Yeah, right. You're surrounded by nothing but geek shit. Why
Right.
am I getting shit right now?
But yeah, I am very, very hyped up about this. So I appreciate being on this and
Well, I
talking
think
some
before
shit.
even the show came out, you were like, so we're doing Invincible,
Yeah.
right?
I think when the first trailer, I was like, "Hey man, you see this trailer? We should do an episode on this. All right, come
You're
on."
like, hey, buddy.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Hey, friend.
Hey, yeah, so I was just wondering if maybe passing me a note. Do you want to do an Invincible episode?
Check yes or
no.
And the person talking, our machine head to this crime syndicate that is.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
So I get murdered.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And your voice sounds really weird because as you talk, it's,
yeah.
which is something I fucking appreciate. But
Yeah.
the great Hobbit, Mike the Hobbit. Bickett.
Yeah, I have always determined through the years that we've done this that at some point Steven will murder me and take over the show.
Oh,
Like, I
absolutely.
think that's just the plan.
He's having you sign these. He's having you sign these weird documents just for fun.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff,
like, haha, really fun joke, signing everything over as
Oh,
equal partners.
All the equipment goes to you.
I was about to say with Steven, yeah, it will. There can only be one. I was about to say no, it's a rule of two. You always got to have two. But with Steven, he'd be like, no, I just want it.
He's big enough
Yeah,
for
he
two,
is.
so
Yeah.
he's a big man.
1.5.
Yeah,
You know.
that's why I hide behind him in our apparent like often street fights. That we do.
Exactly.
So I am Mike the Hobbit, host of Geeks Under the Influence and co-runner of the network, GUIPodcast.com. Check out all the shows on the network. Rate, review, subscribe, follow our social media. Tell us what you want to hear in the future and join the conversation. 804-505-4484. That's 804-505-4GUI for texts, voicemails. That's our hotline number for all the shows of the network. So tell us what show you're talking about and why you're calling or leaving a voicemail or a text. And we love hearing from you.
Or just send the love.
Or
Send the love.
Some sloppy dick pics. Or
Or titty. You can be conservative.
titties too
Titty.
is great. Just
Let
like one
him
single
have
titty
his
fine.
dick pics. He's the one with the phone.
Yeah,
Let him
somebody's
have his
making a
dick pics.
request, all right?
Just send them our way. It will not end up on our social media streams. We will
It's for personal use only,
personal
all right?
use only.
Good
We'll
disclaimer.
Only
Yeah.
blow it up into poster size for the studio, but yeah. Make it into a hat, you know.
If I walk in here and I see like bigger than life-size genitals on the
Yeah.
wall, I'm not going to be happy.
We're changing formats.
I thought that's what you had deeply upsetting for.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Let's get into Invincible. This was an animated series that dropped, like 6 weeks ago. I
Yeah.
guess. What I really loved about Invincible starting off with it is that 3/4 of the first episode, I was like, this is a really charming, like fun, coming of age superhero movie. Like the characters are well fleshed out. I really like believe this universe that they're creating for me. This is going to be really fun and like heartwarming. Like it's nice to have something that you feel like has some whimsy and some joy in this dark, dark world. He just punched a hole through that dude.
Got him. Yeah.
I was so ill prepared for the hard turn at the end of episode 1 that I was in proper form. They did it perfectly where I was not at all prepared and then was just like mouth agape at the goings on.
Well, episode 1 was we'll say the least bloody episode. I want to say, because they do have to build up the story, because it's just like with any of the movies, you've got the newcomers in who haven't read the comics and stuff like that. When I'm glad to see the bloody mess that did happen, because I was like, man, are they going to like really like tone this down? What are they going to do with it? That's always the fear with something like this.
Sure.
And basis to the comics. So
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of the exciting thing with when it came out. If you've read the comic, is it starts out kind of the same way with the comic. It just,
Right.
father and son bonding. He's getting his powers, and then blood, and you're like, okay. So I knew going into this, I was just waiting in that first episode. Fucked up shit's about to happen, you know.
did Homeboy just get decapitated by a hand? Right.
Judo
Shot. No, my only issue with episode 1 is that fake Justice League was actually very appealing to me, and I wanted to see the story of fake Justice League. I wanted to meet these characters, but the end of that was it more than made up for anything that I was assuming was going to happen.
Yeah.
Fair.
And that's what's perfect is they actually gave you some characterization. They didn't just go that person, that person, that person. You know, you meet the speedster and he's talking to his wife, and they give you a little bit, so you're like, oh, okay, this show's about not just Invincible, but this whole hero family. So
Right.
then to say, oh, did you start to like them? Well, nope, not anymore.
No soup for you.
Yeah, first episode, I am getting to know all these characters and how they work together, and they're working really great as a team, and they're doing the thing, and Omni-Man comes in, and he's like the lone wolf that's doing his own thing. They're like, oh, well, Omni-Man's here. I guess we don't have to work as hard. And they're just doing their thing. At that moment, I did not think that the people that I'd be more familiar with as the series went on than those heroes is the fucking Blue Man group that is like trying to attack the White House.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Like if Vin Diesel was in the Blue Man Group.
The Mauler brothers are kind of awesome.
It's all about clone family. Just
Oh, Jesus, you went there.
no, they are great. No, and I like how they fleshed out those characters more, and the conversation about how they both have to not know who's the clone kind of thing is really cool. And
then throughout the entire series, it's like, well, that's what a clone would say, like, you're the clone, and it's just
Right.
back and forth. But they're
I
the
did
same
it the right
person.
way because I'm not the clone.
Yeah.
Very good argument.
So I didn't expect them to come back at any point after the first episode. I thought that was like throwaway villain characters because they're like, let's break the White House.
Let's get the president.
Yeah, like it just seems dumb. And then they come back and they're like crazy smart and have all this like science shit that they're doing. I'm like, oh, okay.
But even
Okay, I see you.
that first like 2 minutes, you have this whole conversation. And most shows you go, okay, these are some of our characters we're getting in. Nope. Just a bullshit conversation with these two security guards.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that it's like, I'm trying to bond with my son. And you're like, you're getting involved in the story that doesn't fucking matter at all.
There-
And that was genius
There's a snippet with that guy later
on the second episode.
on the second episode, but then done.
Oh,
You-
you
you
mean
know,
where he
it's-
talks about in the first episode he's going to take his son to London.
Right.
And in the second episode, he's in London with his son, and the bag of trash that Mark threw to discover his
Yes.
powers lands on them in London.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just bad luck.
You know what? I did not notice that detail.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I might have watched it a couple times.
A couple
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with Invincible, how much of the plan after the first episode where you realize like, oh, Daddy's a mad dad. He's got some stuff going on.
Right.
Yeah, that Ron Swanson likes to judo chop heads off. Like we have to like figure out what's going on there. I know like this isn't really for Hunter because you had already read the comics, but did you guys glean kind of what was going on with that character before the reveal later on in the series?
I knew that there was a certain degree of Omni-Man of being, oh no, if Omni-Man shows up, I'm going to run. And you motherfuckers can stick around because you don't know, but I know.
Yeah.
But then when he unleashes what he actually does, it was a cool twist
Yeah.
if you're not expecting it.
And I appreciate it in the finale when everything's revealed. I mean, Mark sees literally his dad cut Immortal in half. And he's like, what's going on? Are you possessed? Are you, is something happening?
That was the
And
immediate assumption. Yeah.
Everything that every Superman comic where magic is taken over him, stuff like that. And you hope that's what it is, because at least with that, you can stop him being possessed. You can stop doing this.
He's still
No.
your dad at the end of the day.
No,
Yeah.
but this is his agenda.
Right.
You don't
Well-
change agendas.
3 out of 4 of us here are geeky dads, man, so, but geeky uncle, fair.
I'm a geeky
You know, but where you're sitting there going, is somebody controlling you? Is something,
Yeah.
and
That whole aesthetic turns it into horror. The most powerful man in the universe, as far as you know, is a monster. You want it to be something else because you don't have any way to deal with this situation if it is the situation that it appears to be.
right.
And there are a lot of people that how they're going to read this comic, and I think probably how it's intended with Omni-Man being the villain at the end of the first season, at the very least, and likely further on as well, is that there is this realization that a lot of people have with their parents where they realize that, one or both of their parents aren't that great, like are bad people. Not everyone, obviously, but there are people that have that realization that person that you've looked up to your entire life, that is that person that you thought had all the answers when you were a kid, and then you grow up and then you realize like, oh, you're a monster, like you're a bad person, and that is something that even if you haven't experienced it yourself, somebody that went through that. There's somebody that you've had relationships with that has had to deal with that kind of situation. So this is very much, even though it is a Superman alien type story, it is very much the realization of like a teenager that's becoming their own person and their own values, and realizing that their parent isn't the person that they had put them on a pedestal as being. And that's a human conversation
An
for
effective
sure.
allegory.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but usually it's you find out when your parents was cheating on your other parent or doing something like that, not going to destroy the world that you love.
Or like worst case scenario, just like hit a dude on a dark road and you just
usually
kept driving.
it's not at
or
the
something.
level of
Like,
I actually know that, Dad.
oh no, not on the air.
like, please, Dad, don't destroy
wasn't
Canada. You know, like that's not something.
No, please, Dad, dude, destroy Canada.
There's in some ways serious things, but there was just the right amount of little humor in there as well. Like the alien who is part of the group that comes and checks on planets.
Alan. Yeah.
And he's like, the first encounter is funny, like it happens, but then with the second encounter, he's like, oh, by the way, you have this type of person on your planet, and it's Invincible's dad, and he's just like, yeah.
Yeah, how do you guys feel about Seth Rogen as Alan?
I actually love it.
It's awesome.
Out of the characters he could have been, I'm glad that Seth Rogen was like, give me the space guy.
Yeah.
Like, just, he shows up.
And wearing Prince Adam's clothes?
yeah.
Good call. I like that. Yeah.
I just, getting Earth mixed up with another planet, it seems like a stoner thing to do. So Seth Rogen's voice explaining that
He was his character from Pineapple Express.
Yeah.
Just-
Man, I messed up. Sorry.
Well, and that even brings up a good point of not only the voice actors used for this show are top notch anyways, but this is a Robert Kirkman original before Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who created this.
And what helps is that he is involved in the writing process. They didn't just take his property and say, okay, and he gave him thumbs up. He's involved in helping write every episode.
Yep.
So, and it follows the same beats, and the changes that are made, like, I think he made specifically for the comic readers so that we don't just, I've read for every issue of that book, and there's still stuff I'm like, oh shit, I didn't see that happening.
Right.
Well, and I do want to get into that a little bit before we finish our first half here, is that I know of only a couple minor changes, like the wife is an Asian in the comics, apparently. That's one. There's
his girlfriend
is
the biggest difference, because the comic she is blonde cheerleader.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, and I was really happy to see that they kind of changed it up with that.
Yeah,
so.
I think they rejiggered the sequence of events or how quickly they happen in the timeline as well.
Yeah.
Okay. But Hunter, as being someone that read all the comics, is there a lot of differences, or what's the biggest difference you've seen?
The thing that just honestly took me off guard was in the comic, the final Omni-Man Invincible. It's hardcore, but it's like a few pages, and they dedicated, 15 minutes?
Yeah, the last 15, 20 minutes of the show.
More bystander deaths than they did in the comic.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And some of this, I'll be honest, the subway scene completely caught me off guard and showed
that was
just because
insane.
in the comic it's pretty much the theory of protecting humans, right? And why are you protecting them? But in the show, literally Omni-Man's like, let me show you how fucking weak they are.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I think because it's a different medium, you needed that time for him to beat the ever-living fuck out of his child. And not in like a you won't go in the neighbor's yard again kind of beating. Not like a swat on the butt.
You will help me rule this world. Beating.
Like, I'm going to throw you through a mountain and then beat you to an inch of your life kind of beat. And it showed, and also with all the stuff that was being thrown at Omni-Man before he had the encounter with his son, it shows that, like, resistance is futile. Like, that this dude, no one can stop him. And even, what's his face, like the director dude is just like, it'll slow him down for like...
No,
Cecil. It'll slow him down for a minute or two. Oh, no, he's right back up. Okay, well, fuck.
We blew up the house. That should slow him down for like a minute. No, never mind.
He's already going.
And that's one of the little fun parts too, just a side note of like where everybody's calculating based on his powers how long they have to do something before they get caught. Like the wife does this whole like calculus equation of
the math.
He can fly around the world and do this, and within I have 5 minutes. And you're like, wait a minute, he's flying around the world.
Also, like, you're goddamn right. If I was able to fly, like, at that speed, I would just get really good food from the country it's from.
Yeah, why would you go to a store?
I wouldn't fight crime. I just get Neapolitan pizza all the time from Italy.
He's flying a little slower recently. I don't know.
His costume is not fitting well.
His belly took out the top of a building.
But, one of the main things I still want to, and as far as I know, Robert Kirkman has done this because of what he did for the first season of Walking Dead, is where the comics are great, but he realizes that you do have to tell the story differently when you do live action. Or I think with someone like him involved, they've been able to portray it really well without sticking to the original script, so to say.
Yeah.
And just real quick, that battle again. In the comic, the realization your dad's fucking evil, and then this battle, and I mean, Mark is literally on the last inch of his life when Omni-Man leaves in the comic, just like the show. But I think the thing that I felt so much here is that now Mark is dealing with the physical and the, knowing his dad is this fucked up person. But in the show, I mean, Mark literally face killed like 100 people. Like, so he's got another weight on top of it. I mean,
that's not 100 people. Like, there's more than 100.
I mean, his face.
His face just in the subway.
Extreme.
But that's something that's added in the series that wasn't in the comic, is that he also has the weight of all these people that he accidentally killed in the process.
Well, and that's even compounded where he's actually trying to save someone, and he just ends up having holding that arm in his hand.
That was brutal.
When you're just like, when he's like holding a building, he's holding this woman.
You mean
and
the
mom?
The mom? And you see her kid? And I mean, just to add that little bit in there.
And then he just pulls up, all you see is the bone and meat hanging off. And you're like, no.
It's almost a callback to the old lady with the, was it broken legs at the beginning?
Oh, yeah. You're right.
You try and you try, but you are not really in a position to save anyone if your dad doesn't want you to.
Exactly.
One little trick that I appreciate they did in every episode is that you don't get the title card till specific moments. And not only is till the first person that says Invincible, but each episode there's
more
a little
and more
blood splatter.
Yep.
And I love that effect where it's just like, hey man, come on Mark, you're not invincible.
and I couldn't remember, did they do that with any of the comic covers? Or was it always just always a picture of him?
Just
or
the
something?
choice for the series. Yeah.
Okay. So which makes that even better then.
I just love that. Like the first episode, I was like, that's interesting. And then the second episode, because I think the second one is where you get like, goddamn, like 10 minutes in, and then the title card comes up.
Exactly.
I do like that we were talking about all the destruction that happened in the fight between him and his father. And that is something that you don't see like the after effects of a whole lot in movies and TV series with superheroes. I mean, but it was definitely a note that was used in Batman v Superman about like, you killed like a lot of people in that fight.
That's the problem I have with Man of Steel, is that literally he decides he's got to kill Zod because he's about to kill his family. Hey, Superman, don't turn around to the thousands of people that are dead from the buildings you smashed, right, dude? But he's like, I can't see the family die. Like if they're in a building and the building crumbles,
out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, that's all Superman
technically
is.
The rubble killed them. I don't know,
Right.
So now I'm just gonna go make out with Lois. So don't worry about me.
But yeah, so you see the destruction, but they don't really. I mean, it takes Batman being like, dude, you did like murder like 5,000 people,
right?
In your little fucking skirmish with your space person that
your space homie,
your space homie, space homies, yeah.
Jeez.
And in this, it's really definitely centered on that you see right up close. I mean, especially Mark, as his face is going through bodies,
or just you get that shot of Chicago, and everybody's just like a regular scene. Everybody's doing their business, and then I don't know where here comes Mark through the buildings, through the street, and just like that. Like I love. There's like 30 seconds, just calm Chicago afternoon. Everybody's doing their shit. Death, that's it, that quick.
It's interesting because in one of the earlier episodes, his father was like, "You're causing too much collateral damage here."
Yeah,
and but you're causing too much collateral damage. I can cause all the collateral damage I want.
Speaking of, and we saw it when the alien race that came through the portals were trying to take over the planet. And that was when I determined that there was something for sure happening with the dad because of how he phrased it. He said, Earth is not yours to conquer. The way he said it, it's like, oh. And then he scorched the fucking earth of that planet.
And that's something definitely that wasn't really in the comic. And I love that when he goes into there, it's a different art style. They did a very
that alien planet, it's the different art style to show that you're somewhere way off in the universe, and that the time runs differently. There was the whole thing with this one race.
Yeah.
So when he's in there, like, you see a big old beard on him at one point.
I love the beard.
Because
Yeah,
he was
it's a great
just doing
choice.
that. Yeah.
But it just shows the potential. Again, someone like Superman that could just literally, if he had a bad day, just destroy your fucking world.
Literally, yeah.
We're right at the break.
There you go.
At this point, so we're going to take a second to tell you about some other shows on the network that you should probably check out. And when we come back, we're going to talk about our sponsors, Drunken Scene or two, and what we're drinking as well. So stick around. We'll be back with more conversations on Invincible.
Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm FU Hunter.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're going to fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
Embrace the madness.
My name is Amy Bogard,
And I'm Mike the Hobbit.
and we are the hosts of Deeply Upsetting, where we use our expertise to answer your most upsetting hypothetical quandaries, such as what non-winged animal deserves wings?
And what body part deserves a secret mouth?
Which cryptid is the worst roommate?
These questions and more that plague you will be answered on Deeply Upsetting, available anywhere you get your podcasts and at GUIPodcast.com.
Hey guys, Scotty Big Daddy Preston here. That's right, the Geek Father, asking you to join me here every other week with friends and family of the GUI network as we go through all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent. So remember, join us or cry.
In a world ravaged by movie studios that keep rehashing the same things, only one podcaster has the guts to make it even worse. Join Mike the Hobbit as he traverses the internet to bring you some of the best and worst ideas for reboots, remakes, and reimaginings of some of your favorite and least favorite TV and film properties. Ideas like a John Waters He-Man movie, Fantastic Four the musical, and Aliens, done entirely with marionettes. What podcast would bring this evil upon the world? This is Smack My Pitch Up. Available anywhere you get your podcasts.
We're back for the second half of Geeks Under the Influence, all things Invincible, the animated series that just dropped on Amazon several weeks ago, just finished its first run. And before we get into conversations about the glory that is that gory mess of a show, we're going to talk about another mess, which is how to give us money. That's right. We're talking about our sponsors.
Yay!
Of course, first up is Amazon.com, the place that you've come to know and tolerate for all of your purchases throughout
wow,
COVID.
you're doing well with that. I like
Yeah,
that.
I'm doing
Like,
better. Yeah,
they're
yeah.
all right, and
They're-
I don't want to
yeah,
punch
okay, I
the CEO in the face or
Well,
anything.
he's retired now,
Yeah.
I guess, or something.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
You need to find the new person to hate.
He's going through a divorce, dude. He just
You're
stepped
showing
down.
pity. What is
Yeah.
going
Wow.
on?
Poor Jeff Bezos, the richest or second richest man in the world, depending on the day,
Yeah.
is
Mr. Bezos, get your hand out of Mike's back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the way that you can actually take money away from Amazon is by going through the link at GUIPodcast.com in the upper right-hand corner. Anything you purchase through Amazon through that link, we get credit for. So you get the things that you need from Amazon, and we get to take some of the money that Amazon would have been keeping anyway. So damn the man, give some of that
Right.
money to the podcast instead.
But you pay no extra.
And you pay no extra. It's the same
So-
amount. So if you want to buy the Invincible books and read up on the comics, that's the way to
Yep.
go. If you don't have Prime, I'm telling you, there's a lot of really good stuff on Prime, and we actually get credit if you go through that link and sign up for Prime as well. So
There
if
you
you
go.
want to, not just Invincible, but the Boys series is great. I just recently watched Wayne, which was a YouTube
Yes.
original that was bought out by Prime, and I really hope they do a second season because holy shit, was a great first season.
Utopia is another one.
Utopia is good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Small
and
Axe,
Small Axe, I've not seen that one.
They also have
5
the
movies.
they also have the original Utopia, which apparently was a BBC series.
BBC, yeah.
BBC. Did I say that right? Yeah, probably. Anyways,
The British thing.
There's
Yes.
there's plenty on Prime to keep you busy, and also if you are a fan of like grade B through grade Z movies,
yes.
I would say out of the big streamers, Amazon Prime has the largest collection of just weird, fucked up, strange.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
movies.
We
Oh.
find a few beautiful disastrous movies in that.
For sure.
Definitely a few. I've gone down a few documentary holes as well.
Absolutely.
There's
I'm-
some great documentaries on there.
I just found a documentary on Pastafarianism that I'm going to be taking down
I
this
have
weekend.
watched most
so,
of that one.
yeah,
Yes,
I'm
that
gonna-
is-
I'm going to check that out.
It's your people.
It's my people.
It is your
Yeah.
people.
So Amazon.com, make sure you go through the link at GUIPodcast.com so we get credit. And next up, of course, is TeePublic. TeePublic. Just dropped a few designs on the site earlier this week that are available to you, and there's a couple more that are going to be dropping here in the next few days. We've got our LGBTQIA plus support shirt that has all the colors of the rainbow on it.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. It's a great shirt that already there are a few people been like, fuck, I wasn't planning on buying a shirt this week, that are going to get that. So I'm excited about that. But we also have this is definitely the worst timeline community reference t-shirt that just dropped. We've got our homage to Falcon and the Winter Soldier design from the Falcon Winter Soldier episode. And
let me say the blood stain that you added to that was
solid.
Ooh, I'll say again, oof.
Yeah, it's definitely like, well, I was looking at the design, and if you didn't know that it was a reference to Falcon and Winter Soldier, it would look like we were a really patriotic podcast. And I wanted to make sure that was not misunderstood, that we're not like, America love it or leave it podcast.
Well, as soon as they listen to an episode, they'd be like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
You made that shirt PG into a PG-13 shirt.
Yes, so I figured the blood stain would definitely, America, wait. Hold on. There's something else happening here. So we've got that. We've got a bunch of other designs coming out. So definitely check out TeePublic.
The new Geekfathers is on there?
The new Geekfathers shirt is on there as well. Yes, absolutely.
Nice.
And so you can see not just Scotty's beautiful face, but Smash's kind of okay face.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are Chrome Dome Brothers.
Yeah, the baldies.
That's right.
How to Raise Kids and Also Be Bald, the podcast.
And wear glasses.
And wear glasses. And basically be like a wider and thinner version of each other.
Thank you. I didn't want to be the only person that said that.
No, I'm calling you wide.
Wide.
You're girthy.
Scrawl.
I'll take fat. Thank you.
You're thick with 2 C's.
There you go. I'll take the thick.
Doughy, you know.
Yeah.
God damn you.
Doughboys is a different podcast.
Yeah,
Right.
So,
That's
yeah.
whoa.
So definitely check out GUIPodcast.com/store for a link to our TeePublic page, or just click on store on the homepage and that'll send you right to our TeePublic page. There's close to 40 designs there. We'll probably in the next month, we'll be breaking that 40 design mark on the number of designs we have there. So you could literally wear a GUI network related shirt once a day for a month, and
that does not include the Halloween designs that are usually posted temporarily. And probably at least 2 new designs of Geekfathers coming out. I'll say sometime this year. It depends on how quickly I can get them up and designed.
So there's plenty to choose from, and they're on sale all the time. Currently, as we're recording this, is on sale, and if it's not on sale when you look at it, wait like 3 days, it'll be on sale.
Almost every weekend, I would say.
Pretty much, it's pretty constantly on sale. So that gives us our sponsors. That's who's helping us out, making a little cash on this show.
Cha-ching.
And next, the thing that really is the driving force, the gasoline in our tank of nerddom that we use on the show, is a little section we call
Pornography.
Yep. That's it. That's the one. We circle jerk each other before we get on.
Why you gotta spoil it?
And then through the regret that we feel and not being able to look each other in the eye, we imbibe a few to get through the episode. And we talk about it on What We're Drinking.
Hey, we're fucking drinking. We're getting drunk. You want to know? Well, here you go. Hey,
we're drinking. We're getting drunk.
Yay.
Yay, Bo!
Yay, Bo!
The end of that song turned kind of punk rock for a second.
Yeah,
I don't know.
weird.
Like,
It turned Costa Rican.
yeah.
It's almost like it's like if you really stretch the truth, it's basically an Avail song.
Wow, it is. It actually is. That's the funny part.
That's
sorry.
that's a Z side of Avail.
That's something that they're probably going to sue us now.
Yeah, right.
One way or another. Now that you said that.
You know, try to upload it to the Avail Spotify page. They're like, "What are you doing?"
No.
So we've got a few drinks here available to us. The first one is Three Floyds Brewing Company. I brought for everybody to enjoy. It's a pale ale, and it is called Alpha King, which is appropriate for this episode, considering why Omni-Man is such a douche.
Truth. And then what's the one guy's name?
The Immortal?
Immortal? Is it
The
just
Immortal?
Immortal?
Yeah.
The Immortal God. They call
Abraham
him
Lincoln?
Yeah. They
Literally
call him the
Abraham
Immortal
Lincoln.
God
Yeah.
at one point. Yeah. So, but yes.
You gotta love a show that makes Abraham Lincoln a superhero.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
fuck
kind of
yeah.
awesome.
yeah.
I was hoping they were going to go there and they do that quick flashback. And he's like, remember when he was a warrior and this and that? And they're like, oh, yeah, he was Lincoln, too. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So I don't hate this. I'm not a huge fan of pale ales, but this is not overly bitter. I do not hate it.
This one does not taste like dirty bone water, so
The thing that's nice about this is the ABV on this is 6.66%.
I did notice that as well. So it's a little eval.
It's the Devil's Brew.
yes.
Yes, in fact.
Like
It
that.
is a little hoppier than I tend to like on a pale ale. And pale ales, I mean, they do tend to get hoppy sometimes. I like a little bit of that lighter touch. But I would say I couldn't session this myself,
No.
but I could definitely have a few of these and will probably and be perfectly content. So
a good dinner drink, maybe.
yeah, I would say with the right pairing,
Yeah.
watching Invincible, eating tater tots, this would be
A nice rosemary and butter steak.
yeah,
Hey, I don't.
Tater tots
I'm fat, so I'm thinking
with
of food.
cheese.
So.
I thought we already established that.
Make some,
I'm sorry. I'm thick and thinking of food.
yeah.
So.
Double C's.
Husky.
And
Husky.
double C's for my pairing is going to be the different types of cheddar I put on my tater tots before watching Invincible and
Fair.
drinking Alpha King.
I'll totally take that.
The next one, Thandi was nice enough to bring us a delicious beverage to imbibe here.
So we have a local mead from the Saga Meadery, and I found this in the wine shop on Forest Hill, which I do not know the name of, even though I've been there millions of times.
That might be Once Upon a Vine. They have a location out that way.
Exactly.
I was about to say that. Yeah.
This is the Sunburst Citrus iteration of their mead. They have some other iterations, a wildflower iteration, and what was the other one? Apple. This is delicious.
This is
it's
really
a nice
good.
summer
Not bad.
beverage.
Yeah.
Really sweet because it's mead. Mead is basically fermented honey water, but yeah, I like this a lot. What do you think, guys?
I agree. Mead is definitely one of those like situational drinks for me because of how sweet it is, but the citrus notes on this definitely cut that sweetness to a degree.
Yeah.
You get that acidity that calms it down a little bit, makes it a lot more approachable.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm a big fan of citrus anyway, any kind of like lime or orange kind of flavoring and something I'm going to be a big fan of. So as far as mead goes, this is definitely like a top-notch one for me. This I could 100% sit out in the yard on like a warm day, cool breeze, drinking this and be perfectly content.
Well, let me tell you that I have, and that's a bad idea.
Oh, okay. Bad hangovers?
Anything with this much residual sugar is going to be a bad time. It's not a horrible hangover. They don't use any preservatives, so that's a big
good.
plus. No sulfides. But yeah, it's going to be a hard time.
So if you get a bottle, it would probably be better to share the wealth a little bit so that you're not hurting nearly as bad.
Right.
There you go.
Okay, so this is definitely a share, a proper share.
Put the note down. Don't chug alone. Okay.
Right. Water.
If you're sitting in the dark chugging a bottle of mead by yourself,
Eating tater
I think
tots.
your hangover is not the highest concern that you're dealing with at that point. I think
the diabetes, it hurts.
there's a few other things that you're going to have to kind of suss out in your life before you get to why you're drinking mead
Very
in the dark.
true.
My pancreas, my foot. Oh.
So next up we have what some people love and other people's hate from our show here. This is where we get a chance to get into the characters a little bit in a segment we call Making a Drunken Scene.
Making a drunken scene.
Oh, yes.
So we've got some from scenes from Invincible here. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot of actual dialogue between characters that's available on the internet currently.
Damn you, internet.
The deep nerds, the ones that are a little bit more studious than us when it comes to this stuff, we need you. Please.
Yeah. Wikipedia dorks, where are you when we need you?
Do us a help and
Yes.
get some IMDb quotes out there for us. But we have 4 different lines that we're going to take turns doing. The first 2 are
Yeah, that's
from
a good idea.
Mark's mom. And then we've got one from Omni-Man, and then from the Blue Man Group is the last.
I'll do the first one.
Okay, I'll do second. I'll be
third.
Cool, perfect. Thandi, it is starting with you.
I was worried before because I've never seen your dad hurt so badly. But taking on aliens in another dimension, That's just another Tuesday.
That was sexy.
That was.
I wish Mark's mom talked like that.
Pressure's on.
Like, I want you to fuck me. And he's like, okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm making up a new episode in my head. I think. All right. Okay. I'm the next mom one.
You aren't the only badass in this family. I sold a house today that had a double homicide. I told them lightning never strikes twice.
Never do that again.
No.
Not as sexy.
I'll take your Russian stupid whatever.
That Russian accent was like pitch perfect.
Sure.
Yeah. No. Okay. All right, Hunter.
All right.
Or Omni-Man.
If you want to be prepared to do what we do, you have to be prepared for anything. No one is going to pull their punches.
How do you prepare to do? Exactly.
Do we do?
Do we do? Did Omni-Man join a doo-wop group or
Yeah.
something?
That's right.
I mean,
No, Liam Neeson Batman was perfect.
And then Scotty, bring it home for us.
ooh, okay.
I like you chose the one that's going to get you on a list.
Yep,
I
so-
know.
Yeah.
I know. It is. You could just sit this one out. Let us kill the president.
I like your hand is up like you're actually acting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actor.
Acting.
And scene.
And scene. All right. Enough of that dumbassery. Let's get back into Invincible a little bit here. So, I want to talk about Mars a little bit going into the second half.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
About that is a perfect example on Mark being ill-prepared for what he's being put in front of, because he basically thinks he did a great job hanging out for 2 weeks on the outside of a spaceship, and then gets there and like shit goes sideways and he thinks he saves the day. And no, like Mars is fucked now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a whole new story. Well, and just as a side note, because like we said in the very beginning of the episode, now that we're on the second half, we're going off the fucking rails.
Always.
Spoilers like a motherfucker. Is that was the great thing about the end of the last episode, is how they give all the montage scenes of what could be happening in season 2.
Sure.
And
Yep.
it's definitely the repercussions of Mars as a big
love
part of
how
that,
they set
you
that
know?
up, where what are we going to do while we're waiting to see if he comes back? And it's like, we probably have a few things to do. And it's just callbacks to the aliens that are rebuilding their portal to come back and try to take over, with a picture of Omni-Man with a beard.
Yeah.
Yes.
As like public enemy number 1. And
Yep.
then the Martian face hugger creatures
Yeah.
that are
The villain under the ground.
the villain under the ground.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
I think they even showed the dude that was making the Cyclops Robocops was in that as well. That
Oh yeah, the weird college dude that was now actually working for who's supposed to be the good guy government group, but he's making the robots for them.
Yeah, it's that whole like sometimes you have to do bad to do good
Right.
kind of vibe with that.
But that's the way Cecil works, though. That's what's great.
yeah.
Is that he's like, yeah, I work for the good guys, the government, but when shit goes bad, I'll do whatever I need to fucking do.
Exactly.
And that's a theme.
Project Paperclip.
Yeah. And that's definitely what that reminded me of, is Project Paperclip, of like taking Nazi doctors and be like,
Oh yeah.
no, I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, genocidal maniac and stuff. Yeah, like you did all that, but science?
We like how you science.
We like how you science.
Exactly.
You can't wear that skin hat, but we like how you science.
Imagine sciencing so hard that they're like, oh yeah, you were part of like one of the worst genocides in human history, but you science real good.
And you make your robots with no lips. No lip robots for you, you know. But like you said, with Mars though, was just a total like from out of left field of what the fuck is going on, and then you realize, because what is it? It's the face huggers, but the actual Martians are keeping them in check.
Yeah, the Martians that are like
but the
Martian
humans that
Manhunter-y
showed
type
up, yeah.
creatures.
But the humans show up and just throw that whole like life cycle, whatever, like ecosystem into disarray. Essentially.
Yeah. The introduction of the humans allows a proper host for the face huggers to.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Adapt, and that's what they were worried about. So
Right.
the humans show up, and it's like so many stories through human history of just the wrong people showing up and be like, well, guess we're just going to do whatever the fuck we want to, and then just
Enjoy
chaos
your
ensues.
syphilis.
Yeah, exactly.
I proclaim this for America.
Yeah, and then
aliens,
and then
you know,
alien syphilis. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, basically.
But also, that was the beginnings of the kind of like downturn in Mark's relationship with his girlfriend as well, because he was gone for so long, and he told her that he was going to be gone, but because of how cool she was with that, it gave him leeway to, in his mind, to just kind of fuck off in that relationship.
Yeah. Her arc was broken. I didn't like how they used her at the end of that. It didn't make sense.
I don't disagree with you on that. I felt like the turn, I liked that it was that like, that she knew he was a superhero. Cool. I'm good with that. But then the argument of like, but you lied to me. You went to the college with it. Like, if you had an issue with him lying to you, you played it cool too long. Like
the way that played out on the campus didn't make sense under the circumstances given.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When I'm going to call you on your bullshit, but, just yesterday we were making plans to go to college together.
Right. Even though at that point I knew you were a superhero and I knew you were lying to me
exactly.
then. So.
Yeah. It didn't. Yeah, that was... and to be honest, out of most... That was probably the only real big disconnect.
And it kind of took away, because like in the book, he reveals, and it's a big fucking moment, where he's just like, I'm going to... And her reaction in the book is a lot, I think, stronger than, yeah, I know, but you're still an asshole. Like, it just takes so much away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is the question, is that, even when he goes and talks to Adam Eve, and she's like, yeah, that didn't give you the opportunity to be just kind of a dick about the relationship. But you see through the entire series that he's genuinely trying to balance school and his superhero life and his family life and this new relationship, that he's clearly not used to being in a relationship. He's new to that whole game.
He's not used to any of it.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean,
the whole treating her like shit, I didn't see him treating her like shit throughout that. I saw him not being there for dates that they made and stuff. But if she knew he was a superhero, then I'm kind of with Mark on the one who's like, oh, so you know why I was like gone all the time, and her being like, still doesn't matter. Why though?
Yeah.
Like, why?
Well, because there's even discussions about like how you have to balance, like if you're going to have the superhero life, you've got to balance your personal life and your secret identity.
Yeah,
and
I'm sorry I couldn't make it to the soup kitchen, as I was almost murdered by a fucking wolf, like a
lion,
the space lion.
Yeah, space lion. Like, sorry I couldn't make that. I was 2 inches from my life.
Yeah,
I'll make it up next week.
Space lion almost took me out.
Yeah.
So it begs the question: at what point did she know that he was a superhero? Because there's bunches of stuff that happened, bunches of times that things happened.
It might have been one of the like 82 times that he just walked out to the sidewalk in front of her house and then flew away.
Yeah.
That might be.
Within eye shot of everybody.
I also think about the neighbors of like Mark's house, where it's like him and Omni-Man that are just like fucking taking off all the time. That, there's one neighbor that's like a fucking senile old man that's just like, they're flying, and they're just like, calm down, Dad. Just
well,
like not
making craters in the backyard.
Right.
Yeah, craters.
Exactly.
Like, the neighbors are the least a suburban neighbor, because I've lived in the suburbs. They notice shit. They notice if you, they notice if you don't take your can back within 3 hours of the trash guys coming through.
Who was the nosy neighbor on Bewitched that was always eyeballing shit out the window and trying to call him out? The
only effective thing I could say with the Amber is that it reminds us that Mark is a teenager, and as teenagers react to breaking up, nothing else matters at that moment, because you're going to be mega dramatic, in which he is ignoring everybody to the point that Cecil and his mom can't say, hey, your dad's trying to find you. He's killing motherfuckers left and right. And he's like, and they can't get in contact with him, not for anything, but his girlfriend broke up with him and he's really upset.
I just did need to see, I needed that scene that they didn't include of him just like sitting on top of a skyscraper listening to Behind Blue Eyes on like a Walkman and just like weeping. No one knows what it's like.
just Morrissey playing in the background.
Right.
I get it right now. I get it.
Tell me that you'll love me.
Right. He's like, hang the DJ. Just fucking broken. And,
well, at least he's not like what's his face from The Boys, where he's like jerking off on the top of a building.
True. There are different tops of building activities that superheroes
different
get
emotions flow through those scenes.
I actually thought there would be more sex, because they mentioned that in the sexual situations in the thing. Like, they're young people, so I get that there's not more sex.
The only person that was banging was Mark's like best friend that banged out a college dude, which like more fucking power to him. He's like this good looking, athletic, like smart, like charismatic college dude, and here is fucking catty as shit. Like Mark's best friend be like, ugh, fucking dude, she looks like shit in that blouse. This fucking best friend that is like balls him down, and the dude's like into this high school kid. The not like he's like 17 and like a half. It's like within a couple years.
Let's say that. Yeah.
but like he's balling down. Nobody else is balling down, I think, in this entire thing.
But well, no, Rexplode got a little.
Oh, that's
piece
right.
there.
That's true.
Kate 1, 2, and 3 action. So
That's true.
Is that a Menage a one still? Technically,
I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
And I love his excuses. I didn't have sex with the original one. Like that's what's supposed to get him off the hook. It's like I was just fucking the duplicates, all right? Like
the excuses you come up with as a superhero. When you're banging one of your teammates, it's.
I'm gonna throw this out there. The voice acting is on point, and one of my favorite is Jason Mantzoukas doing the voice of Rexplode.
Was so fun.
Yes.
Perfect. Because he
Yes.
has the best reactions when Robot shows up in his clone body. He reacts the way I think any of us would if we saw the 14-year-old version of ourselves walk up to us and go, "Yeah, this is my new body."
I heard 14-year-old virgin, and I was like, "No, that's right."
Oh, no,
Yeah, yeah.
no,
Correct.
no,
Yeah.
100% true.
But just what the fuck? Like, what the actual fuck? And everybody else is like, "Why'd you do this?" And try to find. And he's like, "Stop." Again, why the fuck did you take my body?
Right.
I really hope in season 2 there's a moment where Rex walks in and they're like getting down, and then Robot in his younger Rex body looks at him and just like fully like eye fucks him as he's like fucking monster girl, just like, and just does one of the like fingers on the eyes to him.
Definitely. No, one thing that I don't want to pass by is the fact that as hard dad, as stern dad, J.K. Simmons is perfect.
Yes.
He's incredible.
Kills it.
All the main cast are amazing. Stephen Yeun is amazing as, a 17-year-old boy.
And also,
I get what you're saying, but the way you phrase that,
it's 'cause he's smooth.
Stephen
yeah.
Yeun
All over.
really does like being compared to a 17-year-old boy. It's like one of his favorite things in the world. But I will agree that like I knew that it was Stephen Yeun going in, and it was hard to even hear him in his characterization of Mark.
Right.
It didn't sound like
exactly.
Stephen Yeun, like he was doing.
He sounded like
a
Glenn
kid.
of like many seasons, like first season.
Hey, God, like cracking voice.
Yeah, exactly.
The one that really surprised me, and I don't know how much voice work he's done, is goddamn Walter Goggins.
That
as
was my
Cecil.
thing.
Walter
That
Goggins, yeah.
that took me a few minutes, and I tried not to pause it where Prime will pop up and say, "You're listening to this." So I was like, "Who the fuck is that?" And finally, I was like, "You gotta be fucking
he
shitting
even
me."
underplayed that character a little bit because he didn't do his like musical kind of way of speaking that he does in well, I go big and then I go down and then I go big again. Cecil, I kind of wish that Cecil talked like that a little bit. Where
that-
like, I'm sorry to tell you about.
They didn't
your
draw
dad,
big
that-
enough teeth for him for
right.
Walter Coggins. First off, but it was also you didn't really hear Walter Coggins until like
Walton Goggins. This is my T'Challa.
Anyway, I love the dude.
Walt Coggins.
Walt Coggins.
Walt
We'll call
Coggins.
him
Yeah.
But you don't hear it until Cecil gets intense about something.
Yeah.
Which is very rare. So that like you were saying, like you're like it sounds familiar, but it's not the same as something I've heard before.
Well, he's the fury of this world where he can't lose his shit that often because he's the top motherfucker. Like he's the one that when shit goes sideways, he has to have he should already have 5 solutions, as we see in the second to last episode.
Absolutely,
He's like, all right, burn him with the fucking satellite. All right, blow up the house. What else do I have on my list? Like, like he prepares. He's got to be
Summon Cthulhu,
yeah, Lovecraftian monster, cool. And even the news is just like, so this is like a rerun. Like he did this like 2 weeks ago, and I guess we're gonna cover this too.
Yeah,
like the news cycles in superhero world are so used to some fucking nonsense happening that when it's the same monster, they're just like not even impressed. Like it's an elder god, an eldritch horror that is destroying the world, and you're just like, yeah, but that was from like 2 weeks ago.
But the kicker for that was when towards the end of this first season of Chicago, where they're like, even in superhero world, it's like a city has never been demolished like this.
Yeah.
Like you felt that real big turn. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's, fucking Superman.
I mean, the Martians, or whatever alien race, when they came out, they took out like at least 30 people the minute the portal opens. I mean, so you think people will be a little more,
But apparently Chicago, all Invincible had to do was get into a fight with Daddy, and that was enough for Chicago, apparently. I
It
don't
shows
know.
you how powerful he is. The aliens that were trying to take the city before were like killing people on the street or whatever, but they weren't crumbling, janging buildings to dust. In
But also, Chicago's used to people dying. Like, let's be fair about this.
Yeah,
you know?
that
And,
is
like,
true.
I feel like Chicago, even now, if like a portal opened and like 200 people died, they'd be like, "Oh, that's weird." Just not that fucking affected by it.
Oh shit, Joe was over there.
Yeah, Joe. You know, he owes me $5.
Yeah.
Just not even
Joe in the portal.
about it.
Is, You know, God damn it.
Joe versus the portal.
Oh.
The lesser known Tom Hanks vehicle.
Colin Hanks will do that
Colin
one.
Hanks will do that
Yes.
one. Yeah.
I think that's one of the fun, kind of interesting things about this show too, is that you do see the innocent bystander count, where a lot of superhero things we talked earlier, you don't see that here. They're like, no, you're gonna have casualties, all right, and this show does not sway away from it at all.
Oh,
if
no.
there is an invasion, if there's a fight, innocent blood's always gonna be there.
Yep.
So,
very true.
And I really do like that. I feel like that's something that's been lacking in both like superhero comics and also in films and series as well, is that it's only utilized when it's trying to make a point about collateral damage. Otherwise, it's still happening and just nobody speaks to it. And in this series, it is a constant. It is always something that is considered. It is always part of the conversation that if you make the wrong decision and you get thrown 200 yards, you might kill 20 people. Like that might be a thing that happens. A car goes and explodes a thing, and then fucking the worst version of Mousetrap you've ever seen, but with just like fucking viscera and explosions.
Well, and that's why they say like, what was it like as just a comparison of like Death of Superman was the first time you really saw, like, because this is obviously long before the movies really did anything, or the Death of Superman is like where there was actual destruction in Metropolis, people were getting in the way, and then when he has that whole discussion with Darkseid of where he's just like, I've got to treat these people like paper, you know, and this show touches on that like 1,000 times more than any of that.
and that's where I think like the comic of like Marvel Civil War, the beginning of that kind of set up where Marvel took that turn into looking at the bystanders, where they're fighting this it was the reality show teen superhero team to catch this dude, cause him to explode and take out a school.
Oh yeah,
and that was the final straw. That's just been going on for years and years and years, but that was the final straw, and I think that makes it interesting,
right?
Even as somebody like Marvel to say, okay, now we actually are going to acknowledge, people get fucking killed when there's these big ass battles.
I'm trying to think. I don't think it was after that. I think it might have been before, but Hulk killed like 200,000 people in Las Vegas.
Oh, was that World War?
No,
Hulk?
it was before that.
Right. It was right before Planet Hulk.
It was before they sent him away. But yeah, he killed like 200,000 people in Las Vegas, which impressed them to send him off planet. But yeah.
Right.
We got a mission for you, bud.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the evolution.
How about you make a couple kids and then watch your wife die? And he's like, cool, signing up. Like,
thanks.
Well, but again, props to Robert Kirkman for also looking at more of a real world perspective on this as well. I mean, he did the same with Walking Dead and everything, where he takes a fantasy type story, but adds that like realistic element to it.
Yeah.
And Invincible goes above and beyond.
Both books, I think, where Kirkman puts that kind of is the characters. Is that if you just make a generic book with a lot of blood and a lot of stuff, you might not care. But it's that you connect with these characters, and they did in the show. Like I said, the first episode, they actually let you kind of connect a little bit with this team before they murder the fuck out of them.
Exactly.
Now, we're getting towards the end of the episode here, and I wanted to bring up the idea that there was, I think Kirkman has a number of irons in the fire as far as properties that he's involved with that are going to be coming out in the not too distant future, hopefully. As are a number of other comic book writers. I know that one thing that I'm looking forward to is Sex Criminals, who is supposed to be a series at some point, and me as somebody that has the first 12 issues in mint in my collection, I'm like, yes! Like, I'll sell that motherfucker. I don't give a shit.
They're in mint condition, yes.
Yeah, you're in mint condition. I do want to ask the panel about Invincible if there was any real way they could have portrayed this as a live action or was this always gonna be best portrayed as an animated series?
It's kind of a two-hand deal. Seth Rogen and his frequent partner, they're actually is going to be a live-action Invincible movie.
Oh, I had not heard that.
Part of the deal is that it's animated, and they've already got in the works to do a live-action movie.
Huh.
So
I'm assuming at the end of the run of the series?
I don't... That I'm not sure of, but Kirkman said it himself. He said
Like they're going to pull some weird Firefly to Serenity, but it's animation to live action?
Yeah, something like that.
Huh.
Well, my only thing is, like, I really do want to see Stephen Yeun as Invincible if they do that, but like he's too old to play a 17-year-old.
Well, and J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man would not
You
work
get Nick Offerman.
I mean,
that's
just determined. It has to be the mustache.
Because I was about to say the hairpiece. I mean, the J. Jonas Jameson was enough for the hairpiece.
I don't know.
On
He
J.K.
got kind of buffed out for Commissioner Gordon.
Well, he can be buffed out, but the hair, man.
I'm just saying. You don't remember the shots of him all buffed out before for no reason because
because he's wearing a big old trench coat and stuff. But
and also, I want to see a buff Nick Offerman. I want to see him have to do like the Marvel like
regimen,
and, like where he's just hanging out with Chris Hemsworth and just like flipping tires. He's like, hey, have you seen my wife Megan Mullally? She's hot, right? And he's just like flipping.
Dude, I honestly, I'd pay money just to see that.
Yeah, fair.
Actually, I just want to see the Viltrumites represented with Nick Offerman, but then like Dennis Farina and Dennis Franz.
That'd be good. I dig that. Honestly, a live action can work. Again, it's like what we've joked about though. It's I love what they're doing with the animation. I hope they continue with it because obviously there's enough comic books there to do at least a few seasons.
Sure, yeah. I mean, they already I think
they've already signed up for season 2 and 3.
2 and 3, yeah. I was about to say I think they got 2 more seasons for sure.
Yep,
absolutely.
Which is great that the boys got optioned for. I think they have 2 more seasons that they've already been optioned for.
Something like that, yeah.
And a spinoff.
And a spinoff as well. Like Amazon's just like, no, here's fucking money. Just keep giving.
Basically,
keep making us money.
But it's like what we've mentioned. If you're going to do live action, it's not just because the voice characters. Like I said, like I'll rant and rave about all the voice actors that we've had on the show or doing this show. But when it comes to the live action, you've got to find a whole different breed to do that as well.
Something that's just exciting as a big comic book fan is the fact that you have Disney. They got the Marvel properties. Now you got HBO Max kind of taking in all the DC stuff.
Right.
But you've got Prime and Hulu and Netflix saying all these independent companies.
Right.
So the boys, I mean, like all these properties.
I am so excited for MODOK.
Holy
MODOK
shit.
It looks so fun.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
Jinx, you owe me a beer.
Jinx, you owe me a fuck off.
I mean, I'm just going to have you get me one of my beers from the fridge, probably. So it's fine. No, that's fine.
But it's just exciting that these independent combo companies, their properties are now getting picked up. It's not just the 2 big dogs. You got, again, The Boys is not the company that released those books, not a huge, company.
I'm just waiting for the point where they start running out of material to do, where that indie comic where it's Glenn Danzig and Henry Rollins in a relationship together gets optioned as a fucking series.
If they animate those books, would be fucking hilarious.
Amazing. And also, like, I just want to see who they cast as Henry Rollins and Glenn Danzig, and hopefully it's 2 very short actors. Because both of them, I think that's why they were friends.
Are you vying for one of those parts? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying is that I might be too tall to play either one of them, and I am 5'7". So.
Yeah, right.
I'll be Rollins.
Yeah, right. But I am kind of interested is that clearly, if put in the proper hands, you can take a series like not as well known in the comic book community as Invincible is. Outside of the comic book community, nobody knows what the fuck Invincible is.
No.
Yeah.
They do now.
Yeah.
They do now.
Right.
And that's the thing is that these streaming services are getting a taste of just how rich these stories are, that even if there are people that aren't fans of the original material, there's a reason why there are people that are. Is that these are great stories, and people that don't want to go to the comic book store or some app that like allows them to get the comics and wants to just see the live action versions of it, there's a wider audience here. And I'm interested to see what other comics get adapted, what get picked up. because it's already becoming pretty clear to our to the world that it's not just the Marvel movies, as great as those are, and I fucking love them to death, but you have some dark stuff in these comics that are dealing with some really fucked up and weird situations, and I'm here for the live action or animated versions of it.
Definitely.
Truth.
Now, one thing that we didn't talk about with Invincible that I definitely need to hit before we conclude here is that no one is jerking off in this universe because apparently everyone's invisible and can just like appear at any moment in your fucking life. Whether it be like the fucking invisible troopers that are just around, or Hellboy the detective. That is also.
If you start jerking off and you see your breath, stop.
Right. Imagine you're like jerking off and then it goes cold and you just hear no finish.
And it's Clancy Brown of all people.
Clancy Brown,
and like,
which was perfect.
Exactly. Again, the voice acting top notch, and he played his part as well, which he should be coming back if I remember correctly.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like not just just not even based on the series, but I believe in the comics he makes other appearances as well later on. So Clancy Brown can do no wrong.
Clancy Brown, flick the tip.
Right. Just
get out of here, Clancy Brown.
Clancy, spit on it a little bit. Anyway.
But no, imagine, like, especially Mark has now seen, like, the Invisitroopers happening. Like, his mom has seen the Invisitroopers and, like, the Hellboy version, Clancy Brown Hellboy. So, like,
floating cameras.
There's a point where Mark has to recognize that, like, he's so on the radar of that organization that, like, the idea of him fucking jerking off, like any kind of weird shit that you do when you're a teenager exploring your body, he's gonna have to do with a fucking audience, which is
he's got to go into space to the dark side of the moon to jerk off.
He gets there and there's just like, instead of the woods, it's the dark side of the moon where all his porn comics are kept.
How did people bury porn out here on the dark side of the moon? Your dad's been here for a while.
He looks over and it's David Bowie sitting on another crater just being like, that's what I had to do as well.
Project Dark Fap.
Bisexuality wasn't as accepted in the 70s. You know, like, what?
Oh God, this is the second half, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're about to conclude here. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Geeks Under the Influence, all things Invincible. We had a blast watching this series. I cannot wait to see what moves forward with the new seasons happening. Hunter has this like knowing look on his face.
Oh, it's there's so much shit that happens. I mean, yeah, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Like, so yeah, the potential. I mean, they could go into
plenty
another
of material
5
to
or
pull
6
from.
seasons of shit. So
absolutely.
Well, and there's been very good response to this series as well. It's been very well appreciated, critically acclaimed, decent viewership as well. So hopefully they're going to have the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to see it. So let us know what you think about Invincible, what you think they're going to be doing in the movie, in the seasons moving forward. We want to hear from you. We want to hear the things that we definitely missed because, you know, limited amounts of time.
Right.
And, you know, just follow us, geeksundertheinfluence@gmail.com for email. For hotline, it's 804-505-4484. That's 804-505-4GUI. Or just hit up on social media. All that stuff is available at GUIPodcast.com, as well as all the other shows in the network. Make sure to check out all the shows that we do. I do Smack My Pitch Up and Deeply Upsetting. Scotty's got Geekfathers. Hunter's got
everything else.
The laundry list of
From the Mouse of Madness,
except pre-cap. That's you do everything else.
And
yeah, I need to make my way into pre-cap.
Right.
I'll just pop in for a second. I'm just here to say 2 things and I'll get out, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And of course, Thandi with my handle is Jonathan Blade, and that's most podcatchers. You can get that, right?
Most podcatchers.
Cool.
Nice.
So you have so many other shows to check out. So get to work on that, and we'll find you next time for another episode of Geeks on the Influence. Thank you for listening. I'm Mike the Hobbit, and join us or die.
Shut the fuck up, Hobbit.
Join us or die. Join us or die. Or I will swallow your soul. GUIPodcast.com.
I can has blood?